with this because either way, they've ordered a stand down. They've ordered a stand down on default medical procedures, CDC law, policy. What's happening?
Okay, well, your question implies that they want it to spread, but I don't think that's the reason. I believe it goes back to the doxies and the agenda of the radical left, which is open borders, open borders, open borders. It's a religion to them, Alex. And as you well know, religious fanatics will keep repeating the doxies of their religion, no matter what's going on around them. So the doxy is keep the borders open, keep the borders open, good for America, good for the economy, keep the borders open. The minute they would close flights or suspend flights from Liberia and other plague
that
nations,
would reaffirm common sense, and then that would be the beginning of the end of their religion.
That's right. Then the religion would have to say, wait a minute, if you're closing that, why don't you close the border to Mexico? See, so they can't afford to reverse any agenda item. That's part of their strategy. Never, ever relent. Not for 1 second. Even if people are dying around you.
I agree with you. That's why the CDC said we can't close the border.
The CDC chief should be arrested. See, he gets me enraged. I know who put him in power, and I know why he was put in power. It was to prevent quarantine during the AIDS epidemic. They put friendly people in every public health department across the United States. You look around, you'll see what I'm talking about. And that was to prevent quarantine during the early days of the AIDS epidemic. And they've never, ever changed their protocols on any disease. And now we have Ebola coming in, which is far more devastating than AIDS in terms of it kills quicker, okay? Let's be clear. And yet there's nothing be put in place here. And Obama gives speeches that everything's in charge, we know what we're doing, we got medical care. Nonsense. But this is just the beginning. Alec, they sent 3,000 to 5,000 troops to Africa. Now, why would they knowingly put our men and women at risk?
And the military brass said it won't even do anything. It's just, it's like sponges to go soak up Ebola.
Take a look at the military brass. He purged all those in the military who might have stood up to him. So now you've got yes men who look like ushers in a movie theater. I mean, don't they?
They do.
And what I love most is this clown Panetta, who decimated the military, was one of the worst hatchet men in the history of the U.S. military, the worst man for national security ever, now is putting out a book making believe that he's opposing Obama in some way. And by the way, Alex, this is cute. Every bookstore has like 1,000 copies of his book and 20 of mine. My book was cleaned out the first day yesterday. His books are still sitting there in stacks. And yet everywhere you turn, there's Panetta on O'Reilly. There's Panetta at USA Today. Where's Savage? Never heard of him. Who's he?
Well, that's because they don't want real folk heroes or real independent journalists or real independent firebrands to rally the people out of this. So they block. I mean, that's the seal of anybody who's really good, is they block them. Notice Piers Morgan was on Fox for 10 minutes today throwing Obama under the bus. What does that signify that even the red coat worshiper of Obama is now leaving the sinking ship?
What does it tell you that the idiots at Fox would rather have a man who was thrown off television because of poor ratings than someone who can tell the truth about Ebola, ED-68, the decimation of our military, the plans for another civil war to seize our guns? What does it tell you? It's all the government media complex, Alex. We're both voices in the wilderness here. It doesn't mean we're not going to win, by the way.
Oh, yeah, because our audience is, that's another thing. We talk about Fox, average show about 2.5 million listeners. MSNBC now, average show about 300,000. CNN, average show about 300,000. That's joke level. I mean, one of your big affiliates, in like New York City or something's got hundreds of thousands an hour. Some of our big affiliates have 60, 70,000 an hour. Rated, shown, known, instant ratings on their radios. We know. I've got 3 million a day. You got 6, 7, 8 million a day. I get 10, 15 million YouTube views a week. But still, it's like a facade that there's the big mainstream media. They've got all the answers. They're the big man behind the curtain, the wonderful Oz.
Well, we understand the powers that be and what's involved here. We're bucking the system with the salmon swimming upstream to spawn the truth, to use a crude analogy. And let's just hope that when we finally do spawn, we don't die in the tide pool.
Exactly. I don't be eaten by a Kodiak. Now, shift gears back to what you just said, because that's the part of the book I'm getting to. The hot war, the hot civil war, to brand the patriots as the terrorists, to get the shooting war going, to take the guns. Get into that. I mean, I know it's in the book, but break down your real fear of where they may want to take us.
Well, I think you just said it, Alex. Here's the thing. How do you stop them is the question. What is the point of a person reading a book like Stop the Coming Civil War? I keep saying, and you probably disagree with me entirely, the election coming up in November is key to the salvation of the nation. Let me explain.
No, I agree with you.
Okay, because many people say, well, wait a minute. You're saying let the Republicans take back the Senate and what? You're going to have Boehner now in charge? Yes. Let me explain why. Here's my theory. The Democrat Socialist Islamist Party, which is what I call Democrats now, DSI, Democrat Socialist Islamist Party USA, is a closed shop. It's a mafia. You cannot reach them. Nobody can reach Reid or Pelosi or
It's a
Feinstein
cult. We have a chance in the Republicans.
because they're weaker. See, that's my theory. The Republicans are weaker and more frightful. And once they are given the power again by we the people, they're going to have hell to pay if they don't do what we want with regard to borders, language, and culture, sealing the borders, rebuilding the military, recreating national security, getting rid of the devils that were put into every agency in the country. And we're going to lobby them through town hall meetings. And we're going to reach them, Alex, because they're reachable. They're going to be reachable. We're going to make them reachable. That's my theory, Alex.
Well, certainly once the Democrats aren't in control of the Justice Department, they can't be blackmailing or harassing people anymore. So we can give the libertarian movement, the constitutional movement, a chance, which is why you see Democrats and Republicans at the top organized together against the real Tea Party. Not that it's perfect, but that it's one of our only shots non-violently.
That's right. It's the only shot we have non-violently. That's correct. That's all we've got is this election in November. So when World Net Daily headlined the article, 30 Days to Save America, I was quite impressed because they actually broke it down. That is what I'm saying, and stop the coming civil war. So if people talk to someone in their family, you know, in every family there's a liberal and a conservative and a libertarian, right? Get that one person in the family to swing their vote over to the R side, explain why, and just talk about Ebola, just talk about national security, talk about the purging of the generals. But here's a shocking fact that is on page, I think, you know, you're not going to believe me. Do you know how many people have been killed who are ready to testify in Benghazi?
How many?
15.
Wow.
15. I don't know how I dug this one up. I'm almost afraid to read it on the air. You know, this Marxist, Leninist culture that we're talking about. It's on page 71. Can I read you the paragraph?
Go ahead.
On January 2014, the U.S. Senate Select Committee on Intelligence released its bipartisan report on the Benghazi terrorist attacks. It contained information so shocking I can't believe it hasn't been the focus of an investigation. The report said that as many as 15 people supporting the investigation or otherwise helpful to the United States have been killed in Benghazi since the September 11, 2011 attacks, reference number 30. 15 people who helped us in Benghazi have been killed since then. So how could that be? Are we not to believe that their identities were not leaked into the hands of jihadists overseas because they helped us? Could it not be that the purging of our own seasoned military commanders may go well beyond what happened in Benghazi? Now, I believe that there's still a contingent in the U.S. military that wants to see President Obama ousted. You believe that too, don't you?
Yes.
Well, he's continuing his purge of the U.S. military. And I want to ask something, Alex, of your listeners.
Hold it there. This is a key question. We're going to come back in the final segment with Michael Savage straight ahead. I know he's a busy guy. If he wants to do 10 or 15 more minutes with us, he's welcome. He's probably got to go. Final 6-minute segment with Michael Savage, michaelsavage.com, infowars.com is my site. I'm Alex Jones. 39. Michael Savage, we got 5 minutes left. Thank you for the time. You've got the floor. You said you have a question for the military.
Yes, I have a question for the military. Do any of the leaders in the military understand what he's done to this country? Do they understand what Bagel has done to the military? Do they understand that there's no real war against ISIS? How many times have we seen that clown who looks like an usher come out from the Defense Department and tell us that today we destroyed 2 trucks? So let's say it cost us $35 million and these incredible pilots to blow up 2 Toyota trucks with 3 ragheads in it? Why are they not blowing up any of the M1A Sherman, the Abrams tanks that were stolen from the Iraqi military when those cowards in the Iraqi military threw down their weapons and abandoned their bases? They took our Abrams tanks, remember ISIS did? Have you yet seen one Abrams tank blown up? No. Why? Because this entire war against ISIS is a sham. It's a pretext for invading Syria, taking down Assad, and leading to the wholesale slaughter of Christians and other Alawites in Syria. We're about to see another Holocaust occur. Why is this allowed to go on? how can the West permit this? Because there is no West anymore. There is no West. The leadership has been compromised, taken over. I'm actually begging those in the military who know what's going on to speak out long before they're retired and suddenly grow a pair of you-know-what. I love all these retired generals who are sudden, what do you say, regular guests on Fox and CNN, telling us all of the bad things that happened when they were generals. The trick is to speak out while you are a general, not after you're, retired. This is it. We have no time left. We're not surviving 2 more years of Ebola. It's impossible. And I say that from a statistical point of view. Look at what he's done in these 6 years. Now follow the arc to 8 years. It's metastasizing. It's geometrically progressing.
He's accelerating.
It is. It's not going to be just 2 more years of this mild socialist, Leninist, slow movement. It's going to escalate and ratchet up. He wants it. He wants an insurrection. He wants a pretext. He wants his Kristallnacht. He wants to take the guns. He wants to arrest people. He wants to detain people for their own safety. He wants to do all the things that we've feared at our worst. And I'm terrified that he might use Ebola as a pretext. Rather than being impeached for this, for bringing it in, letting it come in, he's liable to use it to gain even more power. That's my worst fear, Alex. That's why I wrote Stop the Coming Civil War.
He's been signing executive orders for open martial law. Can he get away with it, though, if they let Ebola spread and then use that to grab power?
Sure he can. Who's going to stop him? John Boehner? The New York Times? That's what I'm worried about.
It is the yes men attitude that's allowing this evil to take over.
I don't know. I think the West is paralyzed, drugged. I think it's just drugged to death. I look around, I see drugs everywhere I see. I look at the Congress, they look like robotic.
You're right. MichaelSavage.com, Stop the Coming Civil War. The book's selling out everywhere. Thank you so much for the time. Michael and I and many others are just trying to wake people up. Michael, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Alex.
We'll be back, folks. Third hour, your phone calls, a lot more.
This is GCN,
800-259-9231.
Network.
Stay with us.